think Minecraft is a screensaver thing. All right. So welcome to the advanced workshop for the week of 10/20. Today we're going to be doing some PyJail execution and everything. So yeah. Okay. So today it's going to be a very laid back, very chill workout. Workshop. There we go. Very chill workshop. We're just going to be going over some example scripts in Python in this instance, and we're just going to be talking about, going through the process of how we would go about breaking them. I'm Harris. I know Rajat was supposed to do this today. Unfortunately, he had something come up, so I'll be filling in for him. So please bear with. Yeah. So first, let's start with this script right here. It's gl1.py. Is everybody familiar with Python in this case? Everybody? No? Okay, you're okay. Good. Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay, so
What PyJail is?
PyJail. Yeah. That's a good question. So PyJails are they're typically found in like CTF challenges, for example, where they'll give you basically some kind of script and you have to basically break it. You have to find some way, some input, so that you can then get the desired output. In this case, normally it's a flag for the CTF. In this case, what we're going to be doing is what's up?
What do you mean by a flag? You mean like a specific output value?
Yeah, so a flag is basically like it's the competition code. So like for example, a common one is Pico CTF. The flag would be like Pico CTF and then the braces and then some unique code. And then when you put it into like the website of the CTF, it gives you points for like a competition. So the flag is basically your desired value, your desired output. In this case, we're not going to be doing flags. It's mostly just going to be once we get a unrestricted Python interpreter or some kind of system shell, that's when we will know that we have succeeded, because then we'll have full access to the computer from a restricted input. Does that make sense so far for everybody? Nice. So for this one, what's happening here, we have the input and it just prints an eval statement of the input. The eval statement will just take whatever our input is and execute it. That was way too loud.
Perfect. Like
it was nice. Yeah. So the eval statement will take whatever we input and execute it. So what do we want to do to get the actual output that we want to have happen?
what's the output you want?
The output is we want to have an unrestricted Python shell. We want to have, basically we want to take this program, give it some input, and then get a Python shell back. Yeah.
Well, couldn't you just call system? Or you could import OS and call system, just execute Python 3, whatever. Because you have an eval, so set X to be whatever directory for system. But wherever your shell is, your Python interpreter is on your machine, just execute system or os.system and then put your arguments for your Python interpreter.
Yeah, exactly.
Most convoluted way you could possibly say that. I don't really know Python, but I know you could do that.
Yeah. What's your name? I'm sorry. Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. So what Michael said was basically what an idea would be, because it's an eval statement, what we could do is we could then take basically wherever in our computer there's the Python shell or whatever binary we wanted to run, give it the Python command to execute. We could import the operating system module, the OS module, and then execute that file to then get the output. I was expecting that to take a little longer, but yes, that's exactly what we want to do. The one thing is now we have to format it so that it will actually eval. Yeah, what's up?
So the question, does eval just run the code, like run it as if it's code, or does it run it as if it's a shell?
Yeah, so it will run it as if it is code. So if I pull up, hold on, I have to change my screen share. Let's see, just the entire screen. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. So if we can look up Python 3, there's going to be a lot of Googling in this workshop because we're going to be looking at a lot of documentation. Yeah, what's up?
So does eval actually fork process, or does it like Is it another instance of the Python interpreter spinning up, or is it just the current instance?
I think it's the current instance, just basically the eval says treat this as Python code. So it tells the interpreter, look at this and treat. I don't think it spawns a new interpreter. It could within the function. I'm not sure.
That could be an implementation.
Yeah.
I think you can,
Parse
if
and
you tell it to, it will. Like if you tell it the port.
yeah. It is parsed and evaluated as a Python expression. Let's see, execute arbitrary code statements. Let's see.
So it can like force Python to actually act and give me good on lambdas.
Or just use JavaScript.
Yeah.
Or just not, just leave Lisp and just forget about all of these and go.
So here's the example. So eval x+1 is basically going to take the text and then basically take that and parse it as Python code, and you'll get the 2 as the output. So what we want to do is we said we want to import the operating system module, right? Because that includes some way to run a file and then run the actual file itself that we to execute a Python shell. So here, I am pulling up Rajat's notes because I do want them.
I think we do more of an underscore import. Function.
So you're saying, so let's see here, Python 3. You're saying the dunder import?
Yeah.
When I say dunder, that's just Python. When you say dunder, Python uses a lot of double underscore for like basically attributes or like built-in functions. Double underscore just is dunder. That's just a general abbreviation. Yeah, so dunder import, that is the is basically a function that performs the import command. So you're saying, so let's create I'm just going to put it in the comments. Let's create the solutions. You said it was a double underscore import, right?
Yeah.
And then what would you want to do with that?
Well, import OS.
Import OS. Let's see. I would do. Does it need
Underscore import?
what?
What's the purpose of the underscore?
It performs the same thing as if I were to go up here and type like import OS, except we can't actually do that because we don't have the script. We're just putting the input in. So we need some way to do it inline, which is why we're doing the double underscore import. In this case, I believe OS does actually need to have, it needs to be a string.
Very sure. Yeah. So the other reason, so you would do this because it is a function. And you don't have to compile the code because when it compiles, the first thing it does is it changes all your imports to functions.
Yes.
Because it's interpreted, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So basically we're just skipping the step, just getting it all in one line. Yeah. So import OS, then what would we want to do? So we've got the OS module. I can pull up the, nope.
Website?
Do I have a website?
Yeah, I saw Harris there.
I do on my GitHub. We're not going to look at that.
You should look at your GitHub.
Yeah, won't stop if you have.
At the end, guys, at the end. All right. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So what do we want to do with the OS module?
We want to call system, whatever. You shell that.
Oh,
And then
Okay.
we
Saying,
if we wanted to make it really robust, we could
can you
use which and find out where Python installed, and we could execute that binary there. If it's installed at all.
yes, you're correct. So if so, Michael, right? What Michael's saying is we could use I believe is which Linux specific, I
I
believe.
believe it's not entirely sure. I know it works in Bash, so it might be
Yeah.
Linux specific. I don't write regular shell.
Right. Yeah. So what Michael's saying is we could use the which command, which would allow us to then find the location of the Python binary or the shell binary, and then execute that. Which would be platform independent, if you're on a Linux system. I'd like to try to stick within the like the Python kind of general like interpreter area, not kind of like just use it just to execute bash commands, even though that is a valid strategy. Because what we want to do is like, let's say this was a Windows machine, then what would we do?
Oh, we could use Python to detect the operating system, and then we could execute whatever binary we want given Windows.
That's kind of tough in one line.
I mean, what's it called? Python has the one's called.
They do have the multiple lines. Yes.
The ternary, no, I mean the ternary expression, with if,
Yep.
so it's super nice.
Yep. So we can try that if you we don't need to for this purpose, but okay, so import OS, and then we want to what was it? We wanted to get the system. So Python 3 OS system. Let's see.
Well, what's our end goal? Is it to get a bash shell back?
To get a bash shell or a Python interpreter, either one would be fine.
Well, you could just do system and then put your Python 3 and you know where it is in your directory, you're writing to it. So like, you could just do that, but if we wanted to let's say any one of our machines except mine, we could definitely give that. We could, it's a lot more work.
Yeah, you guys are right. Let's see here. There's a specific function I am looking for. It's the Python.
Is there not a function that returns the interpreter location?
There is. Basically what I'm trying to get at is there is a way to directly call from the operating system module. There is a way to directly call the like actually execute a specific binary. Let's see. So Python 3. Okay.
All of those different things.
Might be execute or forth.
Isn't system the command?
Is it? So let's try. Yeah.
This is what I tried.
So you're saying dot system?
I tried like the Python scenario.
But it actually crashed if I tried to.
Yeah. So Python 3. We just open up interpreter, import OS.
So very bad, right?
Actually, we can just do
Autograder for a code. I printed the reference to one class.
system missing required argument command.
It needs a string.
What if I hear?
It needs a string to execute.
String.
So if you want to execute awk.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So now we have the arbitrary code execution. So that's what I was looking for, was the dot system function. Right. Exactly.
And then you can just run whatever script binary, whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can force permission changes too.
Exactly.
Sure.
There we go. So we just demonstrated that. Yeah.
Get some training.
So so we just ran the Python interpreter. So within the Python interpreter, if we run this command, we can actually, perform any arbitrary code execution. If I put like CMD, for example, yep, there you go. Boom. There's the command line interface. And then back to the Python interpreter, and then back to that. So we want to do, yeah, I am on Windows for this.
It's gotta be in the string.
You know what would be interesting? Got to like our end goal. We'd like to do that and get us to root.
Probably just clarify.
Yeah,
Where's
Windows
Lindy's
is gonna be.
I don't know how we do that.
Where's Lindy's when you do that?
There's
Alright.
win piece.
Oh yeah, that's the other one.
Is that like beyond the scope of this talk?
For what? Privilege escalation?
Yeah.
Although we can try it.
Okay.
But basically what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get the general concept there, because the goal is not to, spend an hour debugging this one-liner code. It's to get you guys, think critically, look at the documentation, problem solve it, and then just kind of work the process. This one was a very simple exercise. Let's see, Python 3, and then we want to run the jail1.py. And so you can see it's asking for an input. So then let's input the string we prepared, which is this. And boom, there you go. We just got a command prompt. There you go. So that's a demonstration of like how you would break just a basic PyJail. Are there any questions on that? You guys seem pretty good with this. Okay. Cool.
Here's the password.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your SSH, please.
You could do that. Just copy sethc.exe to CMD. You could change the root password of Windows computer.
Okay. Now
Great idea.
we're gonna move on to something a little more complicated. So what do you think?
No,
No, it's still what?
I'm pretty sure it still works. I don't know about Windows 11, but I know it still works on most Windows 10 versions.
Yeah, I thought it was Windows.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still.
Would be argument semantics law?
I'm gonna find this now. I want to know, but it's the stupid.
There's a way to bypass all Windows machines is when you put in a USB stick of Windows it gives you a shell. And when you get a shell, you can copy
The keys from,
there's another way. You can copy ease of use. It's like an ease of use thing to you copy it to CMD.
yeah.
If you guys
And when the
want,
next time you log in,
you guys can do that here.
I mean, you can.
That'd be fun.
Yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
after the workshop. Let's do it. Yes.
No,
All right.
With it.
well, they made your anti-malware start earlier. So I wouldn't let you do that anymore.
All right, let's move on to the second exercise. I think you guys are actually gonna have a lot of fun with this one. So in this case, what do you think is modified with this?
It's telling you not to use any built-ins.
Yeah, exactly. So no built-ins for the actual command. So that means like basically for Python, we're gonna have to start from scratch on this one. So we're gonna have to very explicitly spell out our solution. So what would be the first step in actually starting to create this input? So like like our end goal is still the same. We want to get to like the CMD prompt, for example. Right. What do you think we would have to do in order to basically start from 0 built-ins?
Figure out
No
what
OS, no imports.
Let's see. Wait, built-ins. We can import, but we don't have like for we don't have import. Like we don't have this. We're gonna have to basically from just some object. We're gonna have to build a way to then get those built-ins.
It's a string to catch.
It could be.
Okay.
I don't.
One thing to think about with Python is that everything is an object. So how can we start from the base object class and then move our way towards getting the same result?
Well, I don't know what to begin with. I mean, what we could do is.
This
Uh,
object.
One thing we can look at that I think will help is if we pull up Python 3, there is a function called dir. And what that'll tell you is, so these are all the built-in functions. Dir will tell you, it will return the list names of current scope. Let's see, I'm trying to, it will contain the list of the module's attributes. So if we do this, it'll tell us basically what a default object's attributes are that we can then use to basically get the desired output. So if I run, okay, so dir, let's just like just some number like 1. These are all of the different things we have. Let's just for sanity check, let's just see 2. Yeah, there you go. So we have all of these.
See dir in there again.
Yeah, we do have dir again.
So we don't have OS, but we have eval. We dir eval.
Where do you see eval?
No, not in 2. But like I mean in the scope. No?
What you mean in because these are all the properties of an object.
Yes.
So we're not able to actually like run something like brand new. Like if I were to do for like, let's see, if I Python 3 GL2 py, if I type in eval's not defined.
Oh no,
Oh, right, try.
It's under a new scope.
Well, because there's no built-ins.
Mm,
Like all of these are the built-in functions in here. If
So
I-
we have to find one.
Yeah. So essentially we have to dig our way down in the properties and actually that's why I pulled up dir, because dir will be able to give us all of the properties that we can then do.
Well, is dir a built-in?
Dir is a built-in, but I was using it outside of it just to show you what the all the different properties that we have.
Well, is it like? Huh.
Let's look. Well, just take a minute. I just look through this.
XOR?
There is an XOR, yeah.
We're gonna go back to bit manipulation, but
No, we're not doing any bit manipulation. Don't worry.
there is a clock.
Fifth one, three. Oh wait, I'm already okay. We're supposed to do it 2 dot.
I don't think it's gonna allow you. I
Yeah,
think you have to go to like, is it number?
number not defined. Is there a way we can get just some object that is a number?
There should, it would be, I know JavaScript it's numbered,
Yeah,
right? Is it integer? Is it integer in Python?
I believe it is integer.
you're not defined.
Why am I saying?
It isn't.
There we go. Okay. All right. Let's try.
To check if this client responds with pass or fail. They checked if it was pass or pass.
Oh my God. Here we go. So these are all of the different basically properties of when we do int.class. So what would be another way that we could then go from that?
This module.
See module. Yeah, let's try it. Dot class dot underscore built-ins. Okay, so that doesn't give a.
We have a built-in.
Let's try. Okay, let's try dir int dot class. I think that's right. Nope, I forgot it under.
Oh, this is a lot of shit. You can get attribute. Contains. There's also abstract methods on one core.
No, let's try it.
Interesting.
Nah, that's like abstract base classes. I don't think there's gonna be much in that in terms of that.
Abstract base.
Yeah,
That-
nah.
For some reason, those words didn't connect for me. Like, oh, that makes sense. I'm literally using our right now.
Module looks interesting, but I also don't see any. No, it is a built-in. Encode. So do we want to get back to like objects?
Yeah, basically.
So it'd probably be under class.
Yeah.
So class, and I saw a super class there.
Last let's see. Subclass. Where did you see superclass? There's a subclass.
Well,
That's not really helpful. We could try base,
is base the super?
perhaps.
It sounds interesting.
Let's try, wait, let's just try running it. It's so annoying.
It's actually those.
Class object, there we go, boom. Okay, so I'm gonna type that in here, that we have that.
We got object back. Let's go.
There we go, into class.base. There we go. All right, so we got object.
We can init subclass.
Yeah, it's all previously.
Right, so we want to make a subclass.
You're saying dot init?
Yeah, there's an init subclass.
Oh wait, where do you, let's see, base, init subclass, there we go. Yeah, let's try that.
I'm kind of hoping that the base object. Huh. Can you pass an argument?
Oh, no.
Init subclass?
Yes.
Understanding.
Let's try it. Let's look and see.
Stack overflow. Or does that just make a class of whatever type you need?
That's just letting the parent know when it's being subclassed. I don't think that's really too helpful for our purposes. It's not really letting us dig down at all. Let's see, let's do a dir of init or of int dot class dot base again. What if we try instead of base, let's try bases. There we go.
Question is, how are we gonna go from our integer to a working repo?
We have new.
Right, comment.
So that can make a new class. Is that an object? Like my idea is we can, if we have new, then can we do new whatever class that is technically built in? And then we would have an instance of that object.
Let's try. What do you new int?
But why do we care about having an instant object?
Well, because what if it's well, if we can get the OS object.
How do we get an OS
There
object?
we go. In tuples. There we go. Okay, so we can create a new.
Like OS is not part of the standard, is it?
Is it?
If it's an importation, probably not.
New tuple. Try new type of object. Do here dir int dot class.
Maybe we should first try to figure out how Python imports.
Sure. Let's do that. So let's see here. Import system. Combines two operations, searches for the name module, calls the import function. Stem is executed, the standard built-in import function, such as import lib, may choose to bypass import. Let's see, loaders, loading. Import related module attributes, maybe? On these attributes, loading. Interesting.
Very interesting. My plan is, since we don't have import at all, right?
You know,
But the actual module should still be in there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if we can recreate import, then we should be able to import that top.
Yeah.
Oh, it's loader. Loader sounds interesting.
Let's try. Do you want to try a module?
Oh.
Try new. There you go. Okay, so modules got something. Let's see.
It looks like it has lots. How about the get attribute? Can we get attribute underscore shoulder? Or is that just gonna get the
I don't. I think that's going to just
show you the attributes that we have?
yeah. Try. What about base? There got new.
I see, but they give me like quite a.
The base and spaces look the same.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's how I describe my page. If I saved it, because it's.
I think we should probably go back to base.
Some thoughts.
You want to try going back to base? Let's.
Knock on wood, but we really bad.
Okay, maybe back to mass. Oh, is this the init class? Oh, the integer class?
Try dot subclasses. Are you guys kind of tired of this at this point?
no, I'm really listening.
Yeah.
I just have ADHD and I
Yeah.
go all over the place.
No, basically what I'm saying is like, you know, what I'm trying to say is like we've got the general gist of how this is gonna go. Would you like me to provide the solution that we can work backwards from there? All right, yeah.
So we're how
Yeah.
how you have to build your way to a functioning shell
Yeah.
execution.
The one thing with this one is it's very let's see, it is very like verbose.
Oh, you have to go.
Oh, how do you get to the import?
Yeah, let's see. I will, there we go. So this is what actually needs to be run. So what this does is, at least what Rajat did was he actually instantiated a physical object rather than just using the base class.
Sure.
Then got the class of that, got all of the bases for that object, got the first base, got any of the subclasses, if warning in x dot name module. So what do you think this does? This if warning in x dot name 0.
Does that give us an exception? Like, could that generate us an exception that we can then use the module?
Let's try it.
We had an object built. Yeah,
Is that right?
wasn't there built in an integer?
Yeah, integer is built in.
No, there was, if we went dot class. Dot module. With the dot class dot module.
That does not have built-in. Let's try integer. Integer. I don't see any built-ins. Basically what this does, which is where, let me see if I can go, actually here, I'm just going to paste the solution in here. What this does for the subclasses is here, if I just run this portion, so I just run run the export. Oh, it did not delete all of that. If I just run this, if subclass is in X, that let's see, 0. What was the yeah subclasses if warning 0. What this allows us to do is, yeah, you're kind of right. It gives us basically that exception, class warnings dot catch warnings. And what that allows us to do, that basically that gives us, that's similar to like giving us an object that is a built-in, because Python's always going to have your built-in warnings. What that allows us to do is then start taking the module built-ins, and then from the built-ins, because it is a built-in itself, we basically just built a built-in from an object. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we basically we tricked Python into thinking that it needed to produce a warning. We grabbed that warning and then used that to then create the built-in, which allowed us to access the import and then import the OS and run the command. Yeah. And then what we can do then is if we do this, so let's say, what was the one we did CMD, right? For the command?
We did Python 3, we can even do.
Yeah.
Initiate.
Python 3. I think honestly that would be probably cooler. Do this. Control C. We're just gonna put that in here. Okay, and then let's see. So then when we, I don't think is there a way to control U? Nope. Okay. I'm not very familiar with the Python REPL, so bear with me here. Let's see. So if we run Python 3 jail 2.py.
No, you have to get out of REPL.
Oh, that's, yep. Pardon the noobness real quick, guys. Let's see, there we go. Let's try putting in the, there we go. It's string list index out of range. Interesting. Let's try from a normal Python 3 interpreter. Let's try just running that.
It works.
That does work. Interesting. So what's going on there with the? Oh, we have to exit twice because we're in the.
Oh, Nathan, I have 2 code executions.
Exactly. Python 2 jail 2. Let's see. X.
Try to put it within a string.
Yeah, it would work. So let's try do this. Actually, I'm going to do double quotes just to make sure that it actually treats it as a string.
Oh,
Nope, that just ran that. Interesting.
well, I'm good to know.
Jail 2.py. What if we just ran the command again? What if we did CMD? Let's try CMD. Let's see how that works.
Was out of range.
That's what's weird. List index out of range.
That makes no sense. Oh, it's because it's X.
What do you mean because it's X?
Because it's X for X in an X is
Maybe. Yeah, let's try it. Yeah. Nope. Still.
well, it's giving us a warning.
Trace back most recent call was. Yeah, that's an error. That's not a warning. That's just kicking us out. List index out of range. File string. line 1 in modules. It's giving us an error in the print statement. So what if instead of printing, we just nope, it's still having fun with the eval statement.
I mean, also, this is why inputting code is so dangerous. Because you also don't get an idea of what's going wrong.
Yes, exactly. I was going to touch on that at the end of the workshop, but basically the reason that this is so important, while it might seem like a trivial exercise, the important thing about this is if you don't sanitize your input or you leave your inputs unguarded, chances are somebody's going to be able to come up with some demented kind of input like this. They can then chuck that into your website, into your application. And what that'll allow them to do is to get that access that otherwise you didn't intend. Yeah, what's up, Adam?
So how do you harden against it?
How do you harden? Good question. For web input specifically, a lot of it comes down to it's called string sanitization, where you can essentially remove any special characters if you're not expecting them. If you can hunt for, like, for example, if you're running like a search engine on your website or some kind of searching feature, you can then look for any SQL commands and then remove those because SQL injection is kind of a variant of this. Another thing to do too for input sanitization is never write your code directly to something. Always kind of buffer it or like always check it to make sure that there's nothing in there that's malicious. One thing to take note of with the buffers is you want to make sure that you also cap the size of the input. So then that way you don't run into buffer overflow exploits. Honestly, most of the vulnerabilities seen in applications come from the user input side of things. So it's very important to understand actually how you sanitize the inputs. That could be a whole workshop on, secure development, sanitizing inputs. I've only just given a few examples. But really the important part is you want to make sure that something like this can't happen in your code where, let's say, for example, you're executing a string arbitrarily from a user input. That's a pretty extreme example, but yeah.
And don't use eval.
And don't use eval. Yeah. Just don't use SQL. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, also like for databases, most of the time they'll force you not to automatically put SQL injections, and they'll make it so you have the way that you use the API is through like objects, and you have to recreate whatever you're searching as an object, and the last thing, whatever name or variable you're looking for, and the rest of the SQL is already made.
Or if it's through like say for example you're writing a Python script to interact with the SQL server, it's through like a secure connection. It's not just like you're not just inputting it raw into the database. You actually there is some authentication stuff in there that you can implement. Another big thing too that's important with this is encryption. So say for example, like somebody is able to snoop the web traffic of somebody and they see this unencrypted web page. Well, then they're able to see the front end of that input. Then they could figure out, oh, from this input, I can then send get this output. With encryption, they wouldn't be able to see that. So there is something to be said for also, masking your actual traffic. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going to come back to this one because I can't seem to get it to work. Unfortunately, I did not have time to test these beforehand. Would you like to move on to the third one? The third one I think will be a lot more enjoyable. This one was kind of just like playing around with Python.
This one's like, if you know the actual structure of how Python works,
yeah,
you can get it easily. I just don't know Python. I mean, I can inference, I can write it, but that doesn't mean anything. Knowing
yes,
writing Python are very different things.
Yes.
Not allowed.
3 is nearly.
Wait, all ASCII characters? Like all of them?
Interesting, right?
All hex and
So how in the world do you get through this? So basically what this says is for any character in X, X being the input, if it's a normal character, you can't do it. So how do we get it so that we can get it to not be an ASCII character, but also put it into Python? I will give you a hint. Yeah, what's up?
We could add 256 to it.
Add 250. Well, what adding 256 to
We
it?
could add, if it's an ASCII character, it'll be from 0 to 256. So we just overflow.
Interesting. Okay, let's
Like assuming we're not counting Unicode characters. What we can do is just go over the ASCII chart.
Well, it looks like it's going through all the characters in your input. So even if you import hex, it will still see those as ASCII characters.
Yes, it's basically for in ASCII characters. I did not mean for ASCII characters in Python is, let's see, ASCII letter, string conversion. ASCII letter, string of ASCII characters are considered printable, digits, ASCII characters, punctuation, void space.
So we got digits.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
No, the digits are included in string dot
But are they ASCII characters?
ASCII letters as value is not. We don't have digits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So digits, punctuation, and white space are still they're still on the table.
It's gonna be annoying, but you start off with the character 0. And you minus
We can add. Why can't we just add 256?
Sure. Let's try it. Let's do
We're
it.
at 1,000. It doesn't really matter. Like add something bigger than the ASCII table.
Yeah, let's try it. So test input.py. So I'm going to import string. Let's create. So let's say our input. Nope, I can't say damn it. X equals hello, right? We want to try that. Well, we want something that'll actually execute that we can see. So let's see. So for Karen, actually print eval x.
This is a lot of fun. I like breaking up.
Eval. Let's try. So let's run that. Where was that import command? Yeah, let's run this. Let's get that as our string. So basically, let's do an x dot. Let's split it. I think that will then create, if we print C.
I think you have to split it on the no further.
Yes, you're correct. Here we go. Split Python 3 test input.py. X dot split empty separator. Interesting. All right. So let's split Python 3. Let's do string to char array. List. Okay. There we go. List as stacks. X. Now let's try it. There we go. Okay, so now we have all the characters. So now what we can do is we can do a for char in C. We then do C plus equal Python doesn't have plus C plus C plus you said to like 250. Let's do 257 just for the sake of argument. And then print C. This is probably not going to, and only concatenate lists, not entity list. Wait for because I am an idiot. And only concatenate string, not into string. Oh, we have to get the numerical representation of character. Character. I think you're just gonna probably use word A. Word A. What?
Really? Yeah, it is. You would want to do org, just org.
Yeah. and then turn it back into a character, right?
Oh.
That still work? Wait, what?
That's pretty cool.
Import. Oh,
Just manage to overflow.
Somewhere to be.
oh, because they're not mutable.
No, okay, sorry.
Oh.
What's the schedule for this club?
We can go into it is 9.
Well, no, like, I want to join.
Oh, it's, we do it. Our general meetings are every Tuesday, 7 till like 8:30. Yeah. And we also do beginner workshops on Mondays as well. This is kind of a little bit of an impromptu workshop because you know, I had to fill in for Rajat, so we're kind of just goofing around with Python.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm also part of the student Linux users group.
Oh yeah.
We should totally do some sort of
Yes.
club activities.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Okay.
So
Can anybody else think of a way to? I'm trying to figure out how to get like to add.
would mine work?
That's what I'm trying to do. Could we convert to a byte string?
Why would it be?
Well, you could just put B in front of the whatever string you just made. And I'll just. Well,
Isn't a byte string? So when it's just ASCII, you're talking about like the regular 8-bit ASCII.
so just print out C.
We can use a debugger.
I think you could just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay, cool.
Did it work?
And then we can do for char in C. C.
But we don't need that plus anymore.
Oh, you don't want to do that? All right, let's try that. Yeah, let's try just doing that. Let's try it. Okay, so you want to try this as our input then? Let's see, Shift C,
Yeah.
Python 3, Jail 3.py.
No.
Wait, yes.
Well, yeah, we got through.
Yeah, we got through. There you go.
But now we want to join. We probably want to join into. Yeah.
If I exit this, I bet I'll go back to the Python. Oh, it crashed it. Okay, well, no, it was that.
No, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
But
Ooh,
we got through. Like
yes.
printed it. So we want to do that bytes, right? We want to do that bytes, and then we want to join it. Probably, and then turn it back into character. So we want code that will take that as bytes. And then add at the end of it like two char. I don't know how to do it.
So you're saying we want to take C and then dot join, right? Something like that. Let's try.
Well, you have to turn them back. There. Yeah.
What's the object? Is no attribute join. Yeah. Let's try.
Basically, my plan is to import it as a number. Oh, but join. Oh, fuck. If we input any like actual functions, but yeah.
What is he trying to?
Would you like me to what is Mohammed trying to do?
Yeah. So we have them as bytes.
Yeah.
So we have the byte representation. But we want to create it, we want to put it in byte representation that's runnable by the Python interpreter. Which I forget how to do. I know Python will run base 64, but base 64 has ASCII characters in it.
Mm.
That's what I'm confused about. When we're saying ASCII characters, we're talking about the 256 character set, right?
Yeah.
Well,
It asks the asking letters is in this case
ASCII letters or ASCII characters?
it's asking letters.
Okay, so that's a different.
Yeah.
What we can do is we can say from anything lower than 65 and anything lower than 97, I think it was.
yeah.
Yeah, anything greater than 97. We'll just skip all of them.
Well, but that's not. We have that. Like we have the character represented as numbers. Right. This will.
So then we can just have a simple. We can have our we can write a function that will just be a predicate and map on that list.
We can't, because we can't put in letters.
What do you mean?
Wait, so what you're saying is in the code that generates the character list, you would then like to, what would you like to do then to map them?
We could do is we could to check to see if there's no letters at all. Well, we could just go out of bounds, like I was talking about earlier. We want only letters, or we want only
Basically, our goal is to get the
numbers out.
we want to get Python the numbers into a representation that Python can then execute. Would you like me to give you guys a quick hint in terms of actually doing the number encoding?
Yeah, because I don't have.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Again, a lot of this comes down to like the oddities of Python, but in general, you guys are very much on the right track. Let's see. So I think where was it? I had it noted down here.
I also got to go in a few minutes.
Yes. No, yeah, we can finish up right around now. Let's see, there was one and I had it noted down on here. Code data. 3 Unicode data normalize.
I know with shell scripts, you can definitely get it into base64 and it will run it completely fine.
Shell scripts are like a chore in themselves, though. So like,
Yeah.
you know,
One thing we could do is we could take it as Unicode data, because all it's worried about is ASCII letters. We could take it as Unicode data, normalize it in some kind of specific form, and then that would then be able to get past the filter, because it's only filtering for the ASCII letters.
they're not Unicode data form.
Form valid values, NFC, NFCK, NFC.
Acronym name.
Basically, they're just different Unicode standards, like ways of representing the Unicode, like the different codes, basically.
Byte arrangement or bit arrangement.
I also see a problem with this because Unicode starts with a U.
Right, but we can generate this data. Like we're not passing this in. We can use this to then generate the data.
I know, but the actual data starts with U plus.
Well, that's just how we represent Unicode characters. The actual character itself can just be some random thing. Because remember, Python can handle Unicode.
Well,
Let's try it.
Forget that.
Actually, so let's try char root. See char test. This was one thing. So just a few things that Rajat gave me that I wanted to show. One way you can do it is you can also brute force it. So you can keep on going through and then seeing, oh, if this code equals this, then we, do this.
Okay.
So that's one way to do it is we can brute force it. Let's see, another way. He was.
I thought you wanted to just get rid of all ASCII characters. That's why I was. Right, not just letters.
Yes, this would be for, this would be basically for if you basically trying to find the code for it that would then turn into the eval. In this case, let's see.
So much.
Which one?
I hate that this works. It's funny.
That's one way to do it.
Stuff you'll like list. You can do all this kind of stuff.
I don't like this stuff. This is Rajat's. Yeah, no.
I love it. I love this stuff.
One thing I did say I was going to do is at the end. One thing I can do is I can create just a small little input.c. Just going to do a small little C function.
Oh yes, the C program.
H. Feature game.
I'll see you guys.
Here.
If you get to it, just tell me.
Okay.
Okay. Why you have fun tomorrow?
Cool. Okay.
Sure. I will let you know.
Another big thing with especially with like in a similar vein to PyJails, one of the big vulnerabilities, especially in C, is the input sanitization for like a given buffer. So for example, with
Scan it.
yeah, scanf is a big one. So say if you did scanf on, I believe for scanf you didn't have to pass in what you take in the, so let's say like you're taking in %s or %c, you give it to, I believe, I forget the
I
exact,
know the.
yeah, you then scan it. Basically just what to pass in the scanf, and then you pass it,
It's in your whatever values you want to substitute it with.
right, and then the buffer, yeah, the format, and then
You give it whatever data you want to give it.
yes, exactly. So then here, so if we define
S.
scanf s,
Yeah, that doesn't specify a size of how many bytes.
right, but let's say we didn't.
That's bad.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But why is it bad?
Well, because if you have, let's say, you could have code live there, like you can have a jump somewhere in the string. Not that I know how to do that, but you can totally have a jump inside. Oh, yes, I do. You can go have a jump inside of the actual that's nulled out. It still works perfectly fine, but you'll have no memory, or sorry, memory that you can play with.
Yeah,
You want bytes allocated, especially if that's a dynamically allocated string and it's not callocked. That's even more dangerous because then you can request more memory afterwards. And you can outright fork it, and you can, once you have access to like a system like that, you win.
yeah. Another big thing too, I think, yeah, especially going along calc, is if you don't have like a null terminated string, but the end of that.
Well, that's why you calloc.
That's why you calloc it. Calloc, for those at home and watching the recording, calloc, as opposed to, it's a form of basically allocating memory in C. What that allows you to do is then it will initialize it with all zeros. So for example, you're never going to get a non-null terminated string if you use calloc, because then it'll always create that zero. If you don't use callocs, you're basically just picking a random spot in memory and claiming that as your own.
Yeah.
So it's not guaranteed to be null terminated. Then you can get an.
If you malloc it, you can always set to 0.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah. So that's another thing to pay attention to that I wanted to talk about. Because PyJails aren't the only thing that come up in CTFs. I have seen, especially with
CTF.
the PyJails occur a lot in CTFs. I mean, are there some other instances where you've seen PyJails?
Well, yeah, I have a relevant example from my IT class actually. Like, on Gradescope, there's an auto grader that runs in Python, and we're submitting Python code also. So if you submit Python code to the auto grader, and then it's running it on its server, it has PyJails so that you can't do, dump all the reference files or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a real world example of it. In C it comes up a lot where basically whenever you have a program doing some sanitization on the input, especially if it's some program that's doing some dynamic memory allocation, a big part of that is sanitizing the input, making sure that there's no just doing a check to see, oh, is there like this malloc string in my input? Well, then probably that's not going to be great.
There's just so many bugs when it comes to unterminated.
Yes,
It's ridiculous.
there's a lot of bugs with user input. There's a lot of bugs with memory allocation, unterminated strings, malicious inputs. It's a big thing, big problem in cybersecurity. It's a big thing to pay attention to, especially if you are developing software.
Specifically, when I've seen reality, when it comes to like, you'll have somebody tries the reality for using, and they don't actually check the initial array because you need another layer. So it's undefined behavior otherwise.
Yes.
So they actually just reassign that value to, if you just pull up the man page for reality. Yeah, go to the proper usage. Just start over. That's fine. Usually.
Pointer.
So you need a new pointer actually. You can't just you need a new buffer. And that fails, then you can work with your
Yeah. And then another thing too is C recently they came out with like the S scanf and which basically it's now the secure versions of it.
That was scanf underscore S.
Scanf underscore S.
I don't know if it's Microsoft
Yes.
specific. Might be
I think those might be these I think are what you're looking for.
S, scanf underscore.
Yes, because these allow you to the buffer and then they also,
They give you a size, right?
yes. Yeah, that's the big thing is they give you a size. You want to use functions, especially if you're handling input. You want some kind of way to limit the actual size of the input. That is a big thing. So that is all I had for today. I will provide the Python code here. So all three of the Python jail examples, and then just some of the other stuff that we were working around with. If you have any questions, feel free to contact any of the instructors. So it'd be me, Rajat, or any of the e-board members. Yeah. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Wait, let me see, Colin, so anybody on Zoom, does anybody have any questions? Nope, okay, awesome. All right, have a good one, everybody.
What was your name?
I'm go home.
I'm Harris.
Harris.
Yeah.